Good morning, everyone, and welcome back for today's session called myApps Endless Possibilities. My name is Tobias Belloff. I'm the responsible sales guy for the Benelux countries, and I'd like to welcome you to today's session here. Today, before I dive into the session, I would like to start with the poll and ask you a question. And well, perfect. Doesn't really work.
Click on
my remote. Thank you very much, Franzi. So we'd like to start with the question today. Have you already positioned myApps as an open platform at your customers? What do we mean by that is, have you positioned the myApps platform beyond our classical UC and telephony features? And I'm very curious about the results, which we will come back to in a second. But before we look at the results of our poll today, I would like to introduce some of my colleagues who are also part of our international sales team. And I'm sure they can share some valuable experiences from their respective countries. So I'd like to start with Alex. Maybe, Alex, you want to start introducing yourself?
Yes, warm welcome from my side. And as you probably can see soon here. My name is Alexander Gier, and I'm responsible for the very logical combination of markets Switzerland, UK, and Brazil, which obviously I am faced, with a lot of different challenges and approaches to those markets, but I think one of the nicest examples actually that I have recently is from Brazil, which is like a fairly new market for us, and we just signed up with a new partner who is very experienced in the telephony market, as you said, as most partners find us via the telephony, and they were like, finding all the telephony features of innovaphone. They knew that they appreciate that, but they were looking for more of an innovative solution. So we presented myApps, and at first they were a little bit surprised. I mean, because myApps is unlike the normal CTI clients that you can see, because, well, we think it is more than a CTI client. Spoiler alert. And it was just like really nice to see, because once they also rolled it out as their in-house system and they started to play around with it, I received every other week like a video. Hey, we now integrated this web link and this web link, and this made it a lot easier to collaborate. And just recently, they developed their own omni-channel contact center, WeCall, and and they just integrated that very easily also into myApps in the myApps environment, and can offer that now to their customers. So
interesting,
very nice.
Okay. What about you, Christian? Maybe you can also share some of your experiences.
Yes, but at first, a warm welcome from my side as well. So my name is Christian, and I'm the head of sales for Switzerland, Austria, and Scandinavia. And we had our dialogue for Austria and Switzerland yesterday. And what was interesting there to see is that we have made that poll that you've just made as well. And there we've seen that 80% of our partners haven't taken a look into myApps as new opportunities. But on the other hand, 20 have done. And what we've seen there is that these partners that have already taken a look and looked beyond the topic of UC and telephony with myApps, these are the ones that are able to target themselves and innovaphone towards the customers as something totally new. And what is interesting there to see is that they are creating an advantage towards let's call it the other UC vendors in the market. So, but we are not there yet where we want to be. So we would, of course, like to have a 100% quote when it comes that they're using us, but we're not there yet, but we're in a very good way.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm also quite curious about the results here pretty soon. But let's just first go to Rafa. Maybe you can also introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Rafał Lipka-Zanozik, and as you can see, here below, probably. I'm just responsible for one market. This is Poland. And what can I say about this market? First of all, that's not that easy to put this into one category. I would rather say we have some kind of duality, because from one side we have customers who want to build the solutions with gateways, with soft migration and so on. And these customers we can help, of course, and that's perfect. But from the other side, we have also the second type of customers which want to go few steps further. They want to go to all IP, they want to go to cloud, which, by the way, becomes more and more popular in Poland. But what I really like the most in our market is the fact that we have great developers in Poland. And this fact, in combination with our open platform, myApps, gives me the hope that, I would rather even say trust, faith, that we will have soon few nice applications from Poland in our App Store.
Okay, that's great to hear. So let's hope we'll have some interesting new apps coming from Poland pretty soon.
Yes.
Maybe also an anecdote from my side, which I recently experienced when I was thankfully traveling again after almost a year and a half. I was so happy to get in the car and see my partners on a face-to-face basis again. And I visited a long-standing partner in Belgium who has been implementing innovaphone also primarily as a telephony or a UC solution. But they're growing quite a bit throughout the pandemic, and they hired new salespeople. And so I organized a sales workshop with these guys and introduced them to the myApps platform. And the interesting thing about that was these guys didn't have any history or experience with the telephony or communication market before. They're complete new to this world, as to say. And after, I think, 2-3 hours of really constructive discussions and brainstorming and me introducing the myApps platform, they realized, and it was exactly my target, they realized that the myApps platform is so much more than just a telephony or communication client. And they came up to me and they came with all these ideas for their customers, saying, hey, Tobias, this is such a great open platform that's capable of so much more than telephony. We didn't even expect that before you showed up here today. And that really was really making me happy. And I was really excited and enthusiastic after I left that workshop, thinking, okay, these guys really got it, and they hopefully maybe have a new, different approach in the future of how to position the myApps platform. And I think, yes, it's quite interesting. We all have different experiences in our countries because we all have different requirements and challenges every day. But I think we can all agree that in the future with the new app platform, myApps, there are so many endless possibilities. But before I want to dive now into some of these possibilities and samples, I want to go back to the results of the poll. Do you have already results from me here?
The poll is still working, but right now 34 people voted. 29% they said yes, they placed innovaphone as an open platform to the customers, and 71% they said now changed. 69% they didn't. Okay,
so it's a little similar to the results that we've seen yesterday for the Austrian and Swiss dialogue. And I think, to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy about this result, but I'm also quite motivated by that result, because it shows us that we still have work to do in order to encourage and motivate you to position the myApps platform in a new light, or maybe even try to tickle your brain a little bit to think outside the box in order to differentiate yourself from other maybe communication vendors and manufacturers. And to go to the next slide, endless possibilities. We have all experienced it in the last year and a half, I think. The world has been changing. The world is still changing due to the COVID-19 situation, and especially how people are working nowadays. Dagmar and Konstantin already mentioned it in their earlier session. We saw a strong increase in the sales of the software or softphone app, and therefore that also shows us that more and more people working from home. The requirements and the wishes of our customers have been changing quite a bit. They want to be more flexible. They want to work from everywhere, especially from home. And on top of that, they want to have additional possibilities or applications in order to do so. And yeah, today, again, we want to, during the next 15, 20 minutes, show you what's possible with the myApps platform outside of the UC and telephony features and functionalities, or beyond the communication world. Again, it's important for me to emphasize, as Dagmar and also Guntra mentioned in the morning, that we still will keep developing and focusing on telephony and UC communication solutions, but we will also evolve and go beyond that spectrum. And also we want to show you how you can differentiate yourself with the myApps platform towards the competition, or also at your customers. And last but not least, we want to show you also how to position the innovaphone myApps platform, and how we have already positioned it in the market with a lot of cool new examples that you maybe have not thought about before or not seen before. And therefore, I would like to turn back to, I think, Alex, who will start with a couple of examples on how we have used the myApps platform so far.
Yes, thank you, Toby. Yeah, and I'm quite excited to start with a very, very cool example. Also because you all know it, and also because Johannes and Lars have actually already made my job so much easier by explaining it very well. This is our dialogue platform that you're currently using, and yes, basically this is myApps, but as an event platform. And I would like to get back a little, take a step back a little, and then talk about the history. I mean, a year ago we were faced, as a lot of people, with the pressure to organize an online event. We needed to figure out how do we do that. We were looking for a new platform, and then we also said, all right, okay, before we settle on a platform, what is it actually that we need? What are the requirements? Well, first one is easy access. Okay, turning to myApps, all right, browser-based, everyone without installing the program can easily access myApps. All right, check. Then, of course, on such a platform, we need to provide some information, about the agenda of the day. How do you use this platform? Okay. Well, turning here. Here we can see we have simply embedded a website, showing you here the agenda. The next thing now, for you to be able to see us, of course, we needed some sort of streaming, and that was a little bit more difficult because obviously we only have limited development resources, and we didn't want to just focus all on them to quickly develop a streaming app or a video app or whatever. So, well, solution, we simply turned to one of the most popular and freely available streaming platforms, namely YouTube. And well, this is how you can see us now. This is a YouTube stream embedded into myApps. Of course, we also always take pride in emphasizing this is also a dialogue, not only a monologue, though I sometimes really like to hear me talking alone. But, this is a dialogue, and we want to get in contact with you, hear your feedback. And the thing is, as Dagmar has emphasized, we actually come from the other side. This is a working platform, this is a workspace, but, we are coming from the communication side, not just like integrating it later on. And yes, so we have our here we have our conference rooms where you later on can try out and get in contact with us in a session and talk to us about giving us feedback. And last but not least, what we always liked about our on-site events is that it was a little bit like a homecoming for our partners in those countries, and they were always also able to see each other and talk to each other. And you know, of course, you know, since it is a communications platform primarily, yes, we can also do that, you know, and I can see who is online. You know, I can also, you know, it has the side effect that I can also check on you whether you take care. Wim, very nice, available, green, and I could just simply start chatting with him, you know, and get in contact, call him. So
Alex, we always talk about flexibility at innovaphone. I can imagine customers don't really need this online event platform regularly or every week or every day. What about the flexibility of such a system?
Well, the great thing is, first of all, it is really easy to customize. So this is the technical side when we talk about flexibility, right? You can just offer that to your customer without putting any development resources into it. Yeah. But also, of course, and thank you for that, from the commercial side, of course, we're also very flexible. If you think about the ISCs, you know, there you can just rent those resources and everything that you need for a certain time, for exactly the time when you need it. But this is obviously more of it's a great example, but you know, it's very much for a special event when we use myApps. And it's also interesting to see how do we use myApps actually on a day-to-day basis. And there Christian is actually gonna show us a little bit more.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Alex. So I'm just switching to another myApps client to present to you how to use myApps as a workspace or as an all-round tool for all of the applications that simplify my life and optimize my processes. So what you see here is my myApps client, how I'm using it on a daily basis. So what is always important for me? Of course, to have that, let's call it unified communication and collaboration functionality of myApps, as you all know, like the present status of my colleagues on the home screen and all of my communication apps, like the soft phone app, the chat app, and so on and so forth. But as we've already said, we especially want to show you how myApps can be used beyond that. And that is shown by my myApps client as well. So what you see here are a huge bunch of different applications that I need for my daily life. And these applications are, for example, web applications that we already have for years already, like, for example, our holiday tool, our Mantis, that is our ticketing system. You all know that when you've already opened up a ticket for us, or, of course, the Communode, which is an internal information and discussion tool for us. So what we see here is that just by using myApps and the embedding of web applications, it already simplified my life in that direction, that I just need to know where I get my myApps access, and that's it. Then I have all of my web applications always with me. And for me as a user, I just go into it and it opens exactly that application. So I control my web applications that I need out of the myApps client.
So Christian, that means that you can almost take any website and integrate it in your daily workspace, create a little icon or whatever, and then have it all in one platform.
Exactly, all in one platform. And what's important, two more things. It is the applications that I need as Christian. So you may have other applications. Yeah. And of course, for the admin guy. So the admin can make an easy rollout. So just give the applications to the people that need them, which makes it, of course, on that side very easy as well.
Great.
Yeah. So that is one of the applications, these easy web applications Alex has showed as well. So the complete myApps as an event platform are web applications only, so to speak. But in addition, we have applications that were developed with our SDK on our app platform. To give you an example here, one of my favorite apps, the Lunch app. So the requirement was 2.5 years ago, we moved to our new building, and there we've, thank you management, we've received a cafeteria where we were able to order food. And in the beginning, we had to sign into a piece of paper for the next week that we are getting something to eat. One of our developers just thought, that works better, so I just develop an app for the complete company. And the result was the Lunch app. And the Lunch app is actually a very easy tool where all of our employees are able to order food via it, and so they're getting something to eat, and and not only for us, but for our caterers as well. So the caterer knows how much food for whom he has to prepare for the next days and weeks. So it's a complete process optimization tool that simplified and made our lives indeed better. And what makes it so special as well is that it's not only working in the myApps client on the PC, but in addition, in the same way on a smartphone. So it's really an any device strategy that can be done with that. And one step back again, because what is the value add for you guys? It's if I now just close the present status of my favorites and the communication apps, is that if myApps, which comes actually with for every user free of charge, it can already be used like that, and that would already help the end users to work with myApps and to start with myApps. So that is one of the approaches how myApps can be placed at the customer side. So that is the example of myApps as a workspace environment, and now we're coming to an example which I actually pretty much like. So many of you may know my girlfriend is a teacher, and when it comes to teaching during the Corona time, homeschooling was a huge topic, and I can tell you it was a hassle for the teachers and the pupils. So we have thought of why not using myApps as an homeschooling platform. And when we take a look at the requirements, what does such a teacher actually needs? What do you think? What does a teacher need?
A lot of things. He needs probably virtual classrooms, maybe. He needs a way to communicate with the students. Maybe he needs some kind of application to share documents or material with the students. He needs to make sure that he knows that the students are online and attending the class. I think there are a bunch of needs these days for homeschooling.
There are a bunch of needs in these days, and I think it's the same in Benelux, in Poland, or in exotic countries all over the world, right? And yes, and we can fulfill all of these requirements. So let's start. What is the present status of my pupils? That is what we see here. So a teacher always has the possibility to see who's online, and always the same overview for the pupils as well. Then the tools, so like what we presented here with the mirror board, like a board where a teacher can actually replace his whiteboard. Then some learning stuff, and these are just some embedded web applications as well, where the pupils are able, where the teacher is able to provide learning material to his pupils, and of course the communication tools like to get in direct contact with the pupils or other teachers. And school stuff like the possibility to make appointments together, and of course the classrooms, as we've seen from Alex, can be done with our web application. And actually I can speak so much about it, but I think it's always the best to see how it really looks like in practice. And so you will see now a small video from one of our from a teacher who is using myApps exactly as we're seeing it here.
Hello and welcome in the beautiful city of Hildesheim, and we are in one of the most famous and beautiful marketplaces in Europe. But that's not the reason why we are here. The reason is that I meet with someone, and maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Nick Krzyzewski, and I'm a teacher at the Robert Bosch Gesamtschule, or comprehensive school, directly here in Hildesheim.
And that's a pretty cool school. So it's you are doing a lot of stuff with digitalization and so on. So last week you've had an event. So can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we actually had a school hackathon. So with 1,400 students, we put on this like big digital hybrid analog event where we had for 5 days, our students came up with projects concerning the topic of school of the future. And it was, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool.
And in your school classes, you are indeed using myApps as a tool. So how did you get in touch with myApps, with innovaphone?
So through Lars, who I also work with, that's kind of like an educational company that we're both part of. And he showed me that, and he wasn't thinking that I was going to use it for school purposes, but when I saw it, I was like, that's exactly what I need right now. So it was because of COVID, and I had half of my class at home, half of my class at school, and so I needed a digital environment where we could also meet, and it needed to happen fast. So I walk into class, you put in one link into your computer, digital environment, all of the apps I need to be able to change the apps, and that's exactly what you can do with myApps.
So finally, you're not using the telephony feature, soft phone and so on, you're just using the platform as a platform for all the different applications.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Then I think we should take a look at the apps and at the platform, how you are using it. Mm-hmm. So let's go back to the home office and do a session to see how the application looks like.
Yeah, take a look at it.
So here we are in my biology classroom, and we see at the very top classroom and then the biology room. And when I click on the biology room, we basically are in a video conference. So that's a Jitsi solution. And we have that because we have the Jitsi licenses. That's from the school. We've had them for about a year. So we just used that. And we have some further conference rooms here in case we're working in smaller groups. And then we also really love working on a digital interactive whiteboard. So we use Miro in this case. And as you can see, we have evolution as the topic, third semester. And this is where we worked for basically the entire time together as a class. When I zoom in a little bit, it becomes clear that sometimes we work in some, a little too far. We work in some smaller groups, and some other tools that we use, Wikipedia or something like a calculator that we need again and again. I even put in some YouTube videos every once in a while to get the students doing some yoga when they've been sitting for a long time.
Cool.
And and then I have some further tools down here just in case I need to.
So you are also the admin of the tool, and you can see the admin tools, but the students of course only see the rooms and the Miro boards and so on.
That's exactly right. And then I have the possibility to kind of like on the fly, I can add some new boards or add some other tools that we might need, maybe the same day or later in the week or something like that.
And you don't need to send out any links and then get feedback. Where's the link? Where can I find it? So it's just in the user interface.
That's right. That's right. The email server's down. And so now I don't have the link and I can't go there. Problems like that.
Thank you for showing that.
All right. No problem.
So now we are back at the wonderful marketplace in Hildesheim, and I'm not here anymore with Nick. Now I'm together here with Marie. Marie, what are you doing here?
Hello, I'm Marie, and I'm a former student of Nick. And yeah, we used the myApps platform while Corona was the big theme here.
So how was it feeling when Nick came with myApps the first time? So what was your impression about myApps?
I was quite unsure how to use this whole thingy because I just had a black screen before me because you have to put the apps on it yourself. But after I did a little bit with it, I understood how useful it is.
Why is it useful? So what was the main benefit of myApps for you in your daily business?
The main benefit was that you have just all you need in one place, like one desk that you always carry with you in your smartphone or laptop. And there you have the classroom, the screen, and everything that you need.
And you say you always carry it with you, so you really use it not only in your home, at home and in the school, but also somewhere else?
Yeah, there was one time that I missed the train, and then I sat in the train and used myApps to be in the class and participate in the class. Yeah, it was good.
Thanks, Marie. So, and this example from Nick Marie from the school is really showing that myApps is not only a telephony platform, it's not only a telecommunication platform, but can also be used for almost anything, because you can put all applications in it, you can extend it, and you can carry it with you. So I think that's a good example to think a little bit further and to think a little bit wider if you are going out to sell and talk about myApps as a platform. Thank you. Let's have a nice.
Okay. Interesting video, and wow, we've seen quite a few samples of how people or customers using myApps already beyond the telephony and UC features and functionalities. I would say let's just summarize maybe some of the points that we have seen and talked about today. Alex, why don't you start?
Yeah, and as you can see, it is just a huge chance to create additional value, to sell extra services like, for example, creating an event platform for the end customer, or do the cross-selling, like for example, embed your contact center into myApps. You know, Christian, what do you think?
And of course, flexibility is a huge topic. Is it from a technical perspective or myApps perspective as such? But in addition, of course, with the complete commercial flexibility, so they can rent, buy whatever they want on premises or as a cloud installation. And of course, what I think is one of the most interesting things is that the development of the apps brings so much more possibilities to place our platform, that you are able to place it towards the customers, and of course that the apps can be placed in the App Store and sold there. But what is very important that I have to say here is, please talk to your customers as well regarding app development. So what we have seen in the past is that especially they have a lot of ideas what apps can be developed, and sometimes they just like to do it on their own. So that is something that definitely needs to be talked about.
Okay. And yes, last but not least, as Christian also mentioned during his presentation, everything really on one single platform. You don't need anything else outside of the myApps platform in order to do your daily work, in order to fulfill the requirements or challenges of your customers, and not only on one single platform, but also on any device. And last but not least, we of course respect our channel. Since the very beginning, we are loyal to you as our partners. We only do this indirectly through you guys, and we strongly motivate and encourage you to think outside the box. I'm also quite excited about our Benelux session later on, how my partners maybe already have come up with some ideas that we can discuss or brainstorm about. And yes, before I now end the session, last time back to Christian, because I think you have another teaser for us.
Exactly. So as Tobi just said, we have these Benelux sessions, the session for Scandinavia, the session for Poland, of course, where we can, for example, answer the question that were asked now in that poll. I want to motivate you to participate in the dialogue session for the vertical markets. And what do we want to talk about there with you? So what you have seen now in that session were concrete examples of how myApps can be used. And these concrete examples can be for you the door opener to address your vertical markets with just some, as Tobi said, think out of the box opportunities. And that is something we want to discuss with you in the vertical market session, and in addition, how we can help you to be more successful there. So we are looking forward to seeing you in the vertical market sessions.